Hi, I'm Charlie Kirkham. I'm a visual artist and curator, and I'm working from Coventry. And this exhibition at University Hospitals Coventry and Warwickshire is the summer exhibition Art as Healing, and it brings together the work of 8 international artists who have all used their own experience as patients and disabled practitioners to inform their artworks. So we have a selection of works from across the world. We have Ashley Bravin, Iliwa da Silva, Prashant Kansara, Charlie Kirkham, which is me, I'm also curating it, Catherine Lean, who's from Australia, Samed Misra, who is from Glasgow, Ruby Vartan from Los Angeles, originally from Lebanon, and Cass Wilson, who is from the Midlands in the UK. So we have a real range of people from across the world who have explored their own version of art and healing and using the creation of work to help them navigate their own condition and help other people find healing through looking at art.
The point of the art movement is fairly simple in that I think my job as a doctor is to look after your body, but I think your job as artist is equally important because you look after the soul. And I'm pleased to say now, with your work and other people's work, we've covered most of the hospital. We also have a significant music program and a variety of other forms of art in the hospital. So welcome to UHCW and thank you for all your work.
This is a Lebanese American artist, Ruby Vartan. She does like a lot of performance work where she uses her own body, so she tends to like lie on top of the paintings, move her body as a performance. The original is sort of much bigger, and the heart she did to actually be life-size, so she put her hand underneath, so it was the same rough size as her heart, and cut open the fabric and burned it, because she has some physical issues resulting from war in Lebanon where she grew up before she managed to move to the US. You can see like little parts of her body, like her foot, and it's all done on all these different layers. So she's really, really interesting, based in Los Angeles now.
Hello, my name is Ashley Bravin, and I'm delighted to be included in the UHCW's Artist Healing Summer Exhibition, curated by Charlie Kirkham. My art series, The Disabled Alphabet, is a collection of 26 black and white drawings aimed at bringing awareness to the disabled experience. And each one of the drawings is an aspect of the disabled experience, such as A is for ASL, B is for bedridden, and S is for service dog. Disability and illness has been a core part of my art practice ever since they became major players in my life in my 20s. And they started appearing in my artworks, in my sketchbooks, when I started taking my sketchbooks to my art appointments and my visits into ERs and hospital stays. And ever since then, I've been using my art practice to elevate not only my own voice in my own activism, but also elevate the voices of my disabled peers. I'm delighted to be in this show, and I hope you enjoy the show.
Hello, I am Iliwa da Silva. I'm a visual artist and a therapeutical arts educator. I am really happy to be part of Art as Healing held here at the University Hospital Coventry in Warwickshire. I am exhibiting work that was inspired by my medical history of having an infection on the base of my skull, the petrous bone, which is here. And this infection is nearly spread to my brain and affected my eyes and my optical nerve. The work I'm showing here, Petrus Butterfly and Mine Morphed, are about how my bones felt and my face, and my experience of potentially nearly dying from this infection. I was very close. And I therefore chose to do a morphology between the brain shape and the butterfly, because the butterfly in Greek mythology is associated with the psyche and the soul, and my experience of recovering from this infection, which took over a year, was very transformative. And still getting a bit emotional talking about it. But so metabolizing the whole experience through making the work inevitably feels healing, and I hope that patients looking at the work will feel soothed and calmed by the experience.
I was recently a competitor on the Great British Sewing Bee, and the final made-to-measure brief was trompe l'oeil, a term meaning a trick of the eye. And I immediately knew I wanted to reference my open heart surgery that I had in 2020. By placing the rib cage on the outside of the dress and using this black fabric on the inside, I created the illusion of the body's external structure was visible. The rib cage goes around the body and around the arms like a giant protective hook. Love that idea. The dress also includes a really large zipper going down the front, echoing the scar that runs down the front of my chest, and also symbolising my journey into the zipper club. So coming from behind the zip is the red satin. I don't really need to explain what that is, but it continues all the way down the back of the sternum and becomes part of the hem. This dress is more than a garment. It was designed as a very public thank you to the NHS, specifically to the incredible team at the Royal Stoke University Hospital who cared for me.
Hi, my name is Sarmad. Leaves in Love began during one of the most difficult periods of my life. I was struggling with depression and feeling completely lost. By chance, I had discovered this meditation center in Balquhidder in Scotland. And sitting in meditation, sitting in nature for hours, I found a lot of comfort in just observing, not analyzing, not overthinking, quietening the noise, just paying attention. That quietness kind of created a space for intense seeing. And I was observing these shapes and patterns and sounds and extraordinary beauty hidden in ordinary leaves. Later, while traveling in Canada, in Bushard Gardens in Victoria, I had the same experience being in nature. Later, while teaching art in Canada, I found myself drawn to the similar kind of experience in Bushard Gardens. Something about nature kept calling me back. When I returned to Scotland, I was working on a realistic painting series, but I kept on feeling that something else was trying to emerge. So using the leftover paints from that particular series, I started to let go and see where the paint and my instincts would lead me. As Leaves in Love started to emerge, I also started to see patterns emerge that reminded me of my intense observation of ground when I used to fly cross-country sailplane gliders. I wasn't an artist before meditation, and in many ways, art emerged from that practice of attention and literally saved me. Looking back, this work reminds me that nature has an immense, remarkable ability to heal us only if we slow down and spend some time with it and truly notice it.
So my name is Prashant Kansara, I'm from Coventry. Yeah, these are two imaginary portraits I made, which are not typical of this work that I make. Psychological reflections of kind of states. Whereas these I made specifically with the hospital setting in mind. I mean, I'm here often because I'm also a carer for elderly parents, and my wife also, who has a chronic condition. So we're here. I'm seeing a lot of the artworks here, and you know, currently my mum's an inpatient here for the past 3 weeks. So the experience of being in a hospital, a level of anxiety that's always present. And personally as well, I have a bipolar disorder. Thinking about the space and what I do is that what I actually do in my practice is more of an exploration, revelation to myself as to what I'm feeling inwardly that I can't really express in any other way. So it's not really meant, the work that my practice is actually not meant for any audience, but in this setting, what would I make for an audience? And in terms of kind of like automatically went to thinking about Henri Matisse, who's obviously one of the 20th century's most impactful artists, but the fact that he would make these seemingly very light artworks and easily digestible artworks, but they came through a massive amount of process of constantly working towards that aim of making them light. So he would famously say that people wouldn't know how much work actually went into making these things that looked like airy and light. And if you delve a little bit deeper into his history, he also suffered from intestinal cancer. So he's making these really joyful works at a time where he himself is not only himself suffering from a major illness, but he's also how other people get release from their anxiety. If I was tasked with such a thing, what would it look like? And it was just pure, whatever came out, came out. And it was interesting, the response that I got, even from people that I am responsible as a carer for, that they actually responded so positive. Because normally they're like, oh no, here's another one of these grumpy pictures. But this is like a nice, okay, there is a kind of element to what you were talking about earlier, whereby art can be a healer. It's not very, when you were saying about the soul, there is no way of determining this at all. It's almost sensory, but it's a very human connection. It's a human sense that we feel humanized when we're, to have that feeling humanized when we're in a hospital setting. And it was really kind of playing on my mind a lot. So yeah, even though they're very, at once, on one level, intentionally superficial, at another level, I'm thinking about what connects people universally. It may not be this pictures necessarily. It may just be the colours or the way that people feeling seen or feeling a release was kind of where I was going, rather than specifically about a condition or a story or narrative.
Catherine Lee, who's Australian, and she has Wolf Parkinson White, and so she created a lithograph print, and it actually has the cables on it, but she said she wanted to show something that would echo the sensation of the arrhythmia when she gets it. Right. So she does a lot of work where she explores anatomy, she explores heart rhythms, and she does them through printmaking and through collage, where she'll layer her prints with her ECG cables and do that sort of mash-up of different things. So she's very interesting how it's integral to her practice, it's not like an add-on, her whole work is about her condition. So I'm Charlie Kirkham, I'm a visual artist and curator based in Coventry, and this is about 2 of the heart patients I'm working with. I've been funded by the Arts Council to do a series of portraits of bionic babes, I call them, so pacemakers, ICDs, metal valves, bionic kits to help extend life and better quality of life. And she was wearing a crocheted hydrangea that she'd made herself for her friend who had passed away. And so she really wanted to have hydrangea flowers to commemorate her friend who hadn't made it because she'd made it post-transplant. So she said the weirdest thing was she was no longer a heart patient. She's like, I've spent so long being a heart patient, now I've had a heart transplant, I'm not a heart patient anymore. I have this whole different problems with my immune system and not being able to go into big crowds and have to give up work. She has a young family, so she has young children, working full time, and she actually got a tattoo done just before her transplant with her children's names linking it in a little design later, and she knew afterwards she would be able to get tattooed again. She just had this lovely energy, just so grateful that she'd made it and she had a chance to see her children grow up. And she just came in this absolutely like beautiful energy and this calmness, which I was trying to capture in the study. So these are the studies for the final portraits, which interestingly are the sound piece about the arrhythmia. So each one has like a sound recording of the patient's heart that goes with it. And then this one, he was a sort of semi-competitive cyclist, working in a bike shop, absolutely everything was cycling.
And so he's in his cycling brace, but because he now has a pacemaker fitted, because he had a complete heart block, he can't put the one strap up. So it's this weird adjustment of like, if he's cycling, you only have one strap. And then last year he got the news that he could no longer cycle at all because his heart had deteriorated. And then went away and said, actually, you know what, I can't cycle anymore. I'm going to take up photography. And has now actually started doing it as a professional. And he said that his pacemaker fitted was that he would wake up in the morning and one arm would be green and one arm would be purple until the circulation kind of kicked in. And so he was like, I really want purple. It's my favourite colour. It's the colour of my cycling jersey. I want to be in purple light and I want everything to be purple and yellowy green because that's the colours I wake up with my body being. So that was the background to those two.